Alright, today I'm going to give you guys a detailed look at this highly anticipated figure in my, for me it's a highly anticipated figure. It is the SH Figuarts Hulkbuster version 2.0. Now this is from the Avengers Infinity War, and it has die-cast metal in it. So there's the front of the box. And here are a couple of pictures from the back of the box. And really study these photos here, because you'll find out why. And once you open up the box, you'll see this foam container, and then once you open up that, you'll see a plastic shelf for the figure. So you can remove that, and this figure comes with nothing, no accessories except for this little tool piece. And here's the figure. Now, my first impression when I first took this out of the box, immediately I thought of whether this was a knockoff or not. The fact that this figure, it looks nothing, the paint job looks nothing like the promo pictures. Was stunning to me. I was extremely surprised by how dull the color is compared to the photos. And here's a side-by-side comparison with the photos on the back of the box. You can see the back of the box, those photos, this figure looks metallic, while what you get is not metallic at all. It's just molded out of plastic. It's a shiny plastic, but is not metallic at all. You look at the photos, how shiny and metallic that thing look. Even the gold colors are somewhat metallic, but what we get is just plastic. Look how plasticky this thing looks. The head, that gold color, is very plasticky. And same with the armor itself. There is no metallic paint on it at all, which is very disappointing, because this figure is not cheap. So now I got that out of the way, let's take a look at the figure itself. Now here's the front view of the figure. It's very underwhelming. Compared to the Mark 1 Hulkbuster, that one I say is far superior than this one. The design wise is so much better looking than this one. Look at those legs, how plain they are. They're just straight up panels, and that's it. There's no design elements to it at all. It's a very unappealing. And here's the back view of the Hulkbuster. The back is a little more interesting. There are some boosters and stuff like that to look at, but the front is just very plain. And what's with these? Look at those. Looks like it's missing panels and stuff. I mean, it doesn't look polished, produced. Look at that. Look at how flat the back of his arm is. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah. There's no but. I mean, trying to salvage this a little bit, but not really. Alright, so before I move on to articulation and lights and all that other jazz, but first I really want to do a comparison, because here you could definitely tell the Mark 1 Hulkbuster is definitely way nicer than the Mark 2, design wise and production wise. You can see the paint job. The red is definitely different. The apple red it has a metallic sheen to it, while the new one does not, and it's a lot darker, which I don't really mind, but please make it a little more metallic looking than just using molded plastic to create this figure. I mean, it has a little shine to it, but not metallic enough for me. And here, design wise, you can see it's so much nicer than Mark 1, so much nicer than the Mark 2. I get that they wanted to be a little more simplified and all that stuff, but it just doesn't look as good. Definitely not as good. And here's the back side. You can see, wow, there's so much more going on with Mark 1 than Mark 2. And yeah, that paint job just... I'm very disappointed by this. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys where all the battery compartments are. I've already taken off all the panels here on the belly section. There's a switch, on-off switch right here for the chest and the rib cage over here. And then underneath the head, there's a battery compartment. And then back here on this back side, there's a battery compartment. Turn this on and it lights up the little light on the back of his spine there. And then the legs, there are two sections, one over here, and let me turn them on so you guys can see. Alright, and here we have Hulkbuster all lit up. You see the eyes, the chest, whoa, there's a rib cage section, and then on the back, see that giant light back there. And then also the legs are kind of weird. They're on the inside. That's really strange that they have lights there, but not the back. And yeah, it's just overall kind of strange to have a light over here and one light over here. The design just looks kind of weird. Like their head is cool. You could turn every which way, just like the Mark 1. The articulation is exactly the same as the Mark 1. I mean, for the head section. But yeah, really bright lights. Alright, so as far as range motion, this thing, I guess it's almost exactly the same as the previous version, the Mark 1. But even that, it's not that great as far as range motion. Some joints are a bit tight, which I guess it's nice to have tight joints, but it also makes me wonder how much it could actually move. Head, it's a great full range of motion, but you gotta be very careful about this collar piece. So when you're moving the head around, make sure it's tugging in under the collar section before you rotate the head. So here I would usually go like that and then rotate it. That way he's looking to the side and not scraping the collar section. And then as far as the shoulders, I mean, it has full range. This piece does move up and down. Whoops, it's on a ball joint, so yeah, you can pop that back in. Here you can see the ball joint, and hopefully I didn't break it. No, I didn't. Okay. So let me put this back on here if I can. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it does move around, and then the shoulder pad is on a couple of hinges, so you can manipulate it however you want. And then there's ratcheting joint for the shoulder, so it could move outwards all that much. And bicep rotation and elbows, it's about 90 degrees, and that's it. Same with the Mach 1. And fingers are all individually jointed, so full range of motion. And then the wrist, you can also do the repulsor blast just like the original, the Mach 1. Same thing, so you could definitely achieve those repulsor blast pose with this Iron Man, with this Hulkbuster. So let me try to do that. So rotate the head like so. And yeah, there you go. Repulsor blast. Really nice. And then as for the waist, let me see if I could rotate it. Yeah, you can go left and right and front and back, but when you're doing front and back, be careful with the back section right here. This panel, they're very close together, so you might run the risk of taking some of the paint off, so you gotta be a little bit careful when it comes to that part when you're rotating left and right like that. So try to look at where your for you where you want to pose this guy. Look at all the pieces, make sure you're not rubbing on each other. So there, that's how you would turn the body. I guess it could go quite wide actually. As far as the range, you can see it's turning about 45 degrees away, and that's nice that he could do that. And then as for the legs, these are really, really tight. Supposedly you could lower these legs down, but I find them very, very tough to do. And then on the thigh section, it looks like there's either a ratcheting hinge joint or no, it has to be a ratcheting hinge joint, because when I move the leg, I could hear it kind of clicking a little bit, and it's not going side to side, so it's a forward motion. Down here, I'm sure you guys can't see, but let me see if I could zoom in. Right here in there, that looks like a hinge joint right there. For the legs to move forward and back. Most of the articulation is done through the thigh section, not even the hips. Let's see if you guys see the hips. There's that. See if I can lower his legs a little bit. Lower it about that much. Extend out, and you can see that metal joint in there. That ratcheting clicky gear right there. And then as for the hips, the legs, he can move up, but it's best to bend the knee first. You can see once you bend the knee, the thigh piece does come down a little bit right there. You can see how it comes down just a tad bit. Not a whole lot, but it does lower a little bit, so which helps because you need a little more room if you want to raise his leg up. But there's not a whole lot of room to work with, and this panel somehow it's kind of loose like that. I mean, that section is not glued down, so it gives a little bit where you could bend the leg and without breaking, because this front section is not attached, but the back section is, so you gotta be careful. I guess it's for you if you're running out of room, then you could you kind of put a little pressure on here. You could put a little pressure on here without this piece breaking off. So I guess that's what it is for. But as far as the range, you can see that's about how much he could move forward. His leg could move forward. So that is not a lot. I think the Mark 1 Hulkbuster is a little bit better as far as the range for that. And then let me straighten the leg back up, and then knee bend could be about that much. And then as for the ankle, you can see this piece can move outward, and you can move the leg, the foot. Can you move forward and back? Yes, forward and back a little bit. No side to side though, but there is toes articulation as well. And here's a nice pose you can give your Iron Man Hulkbuster. You can see and as I was saying, you could give him a repulsor blast pose quite nicely. Very natural looking repulsor blast pose, and then the hand does not light up. Same with the previous version. Overall, it's a little underwhelming figure. Posability, it's decent. That's how much you could probably do for the Mark 1 as well, and the Mark 2 is pretty much the same. If you own the Mark 1, then you kind of know what to expect as far as the range of motion, but I think it's a little lacking around the hips though. Alright, so at the end of the day, is this figure worth getting? The price tag is very, very high. I don't think it's worth it. Because, well, I mean, if you like the design, maybe, but personally, I'm not a big fan of this design. I like the Mark 1 a lot more. It looks much better than this design here. And range of motion is quite it's okay, decent. I mean, it's to be expected. There are some parts that are unmovable, like here, the gauntlet section, the gauntlet section. In the first one, it can move, but in this version, it doesn't. I mean, I'm sure it's probably not meant to move or anything like that, so I'm sure they got it pretty close to how it is in the film, but because this thing doesn't even open up. I mean, I'm not saying it should, but it would have been nice if it came with a little section where you could have a Mark Ruffalo head that pops out or something. That would have been cool. And here's a look at Mark 50. The paint job on Mark 50, it's a bit more metallic than the Hulkbuster. I mean, even the gold is a little bit better. And the gold color, you can see it's pretty nice. And then the figure itself, not so much. So yeah, as for the red paint, it has a little bit of a hint of metallic on it, but this one clearly it doesn't. Not at all. I mean, it's still glossy. If you see it in person, it's pretty glossy, but just the color. Yeah, they did paint this, but I just wish it was a little more metallic looking. So let me give you guys one more look at this figure before I end this video. This figure cost me about $360. I think it was 360 something, 367 or something plus shipping. I got it straight from Japan, so it was a lot cheaper than Big Bad. Big Bad has it for like $449 or something, which is crazy expensive compared to my under 400 price tag. I don't really remember exactly how much it was now. Let me take a look. So never mind, I did pay $432 actually total. The price tag of the figure is $375 plus shipping was about $58, and then $432.18. There's the Hulkbuster. That's how much I paid. So there you have it. There's the Hulkbuster Mark II from SH Figuarts. Now that I messed with it a little bit, I mean, I am not super disappointed, but I just wish the paint job was a little bit better. That's all. So yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I looked closely at this figure a little bit. There is a little bit of an ankle tilt right there. You can see. Not a whole lot, but there's a little bit. Oh, one more thing. It does have a little bit of a butterfly joint, like the Mark 1 as well. Right there. So, a good amount, actually. So, that's nice, too.